In this video, we'll be discussing the key policies you need to run your nursery. A quick intro of myself is I run a nursery in London and I support hundreds of people like yourself to open their nursery too. If you do want to open your own nursery, then click the link in the description where you can find a course which teaches you everything you need to know. I also offer other help like consultations and mentorship, which you can also find in the description. But we're here to discuss the key policy procedures you need to open and run a nursery in the UK. Early years providers, whether that be nurseries, childminders or any other childcare provider, must meet all the statutory requirements of the EYFS, the early years foundation stage, and take all necessary steps to keep children safe, which includes maintaining records and creating policies and procedures. It is important to remember you don't need a policy for every single thing in your nursery, childminder or other childcare provider. If you are registered on Childcare Register in England, then you are only required to have a complaints policy and procedure and a safeguarding children policy in writing. So before you go to write loads of policies around washing hands and how you clean up spilt drinks, ask yourself, do I really need a policy around this? The EYFS does not require you to have every single policy written down, although it can be a good idea to get a core set of policies to underpin your practice, which we will list some in this video. I have produced some sample policy procedures which you can get access to by clicking the link in the description, which includes things like your safeguarding policy and your complaints procedure. It is important to distinguish between a policy and a procedure. A policy is a written statement about how you work in one area of your practice, whereas a procedure details the actions you will take in order to carry out that policy. The main policy procedures all cover how you will keep, most importantly, children safe, but also parents, staff, and any visitors to your nursery, childminder or childcare provision. In this video, I'll introduce 9 key policy procedures that you need in order to open your own nursery in the UK. As I'm sure you're aware, the main policy that you need is a safeguarding policy. This is your most important policy and it should be robust. It should state everything you will do in order to ensure that children are kept safe, whether that be at your setting or whilst they're at home. It can include information about FGM, prevent duty, or your mobile phone policy, but you can create separate policies to cover these. The next essential policy or procedure is your complaints procedure. A clear complaints policy or procedure is a requirement of the EYFS. So you need to have it for Ofsted if you're running a nursery, a childminder or any other registered childcare provision. You need to state the procedure you have for managing complaints. This is to ensure that complaints are handled fairly, consistently, and wherever possible handled to the complainant's satisfaction. Other key policies include your equal opportunities policy. This sets out your commitment to fairness and lays down guidelines on how you deal with issues that may contravene these guidelines, which includes your policies on racism, sexual harassment and sexism, and any other issues that may contravene your equal opportunities. Another key policy is your behaviour management policy. This policy covers how you manage behaviour in order to provide consistency, direction and fairness in behaviour management throughout your setting. It should also include how you promote partnership with regards to behaviour management with staff, parents and yourself, creating consistency around behaviour management for each and every child. The next set of policies covers how you will keep people and children safe at the nursery. In this set of policies you can include your administration of medicine policy. This covers the medication that you will have for children as well as medication that parents may provide. It describes how you receive, store and administer medicine that you may have at the nursery or childminder setting. Next, your health and safety policy. This is a written statement which sets out how you as an employer will keep the workplace safe. This includes providing a safe place of work, safe access to work, safe systems of work, safe equipment, safe and competent fellow workers, and how you protect people from risks of injury. The next step under safety is your infection control. This policy describes what measures you may have in place in order to prevent infections and illnesses. It can include things like how you manage COVID-19, as well as information about isolation periods for certain illnesses, which most can be found on the NHS website. Another policy is your risk assessment policy. This simply states how you reduce risks and who is responsible for the risk assessment. You can include your fire evacuation policy, which describes what you would do in the event of a fire and the measures you take in order to prevent fires or reduce the risks of them. You can include your fire evacuation plan as well as the frequency that you should do fire drills. In the nursery here, we try to do ours every month. Next is your lockdown procedure. Now, this isn't lockdown like when we had during COVID-19. This is the procedure that you take should you need to go into lockdown. and a lockdown is just keeping children and staff in the building in order to keep them safe. Events that might require a lockdown are instances like terrorism, a fire outbreak, gas leak, or just where police have contacted local nurseries in order to lock down. I remember one of my nurseries had to go lock down around 6 years ago because someone was seen carrying a knife in the area. The next policy is your accident and incident policy. This outlines the procedures your nursery, childminder or any other childcare setting has for reducing, recording and reporting any incidents or accidents that happen. The next set of key policy procedures is your recruitment and your staffing policies. This should firstly include your safer recruitment policy. Here you will include how you recruit and induct staff safely, which must include getting 2 references and a DBS check for every member of staff. Though it should also outline your company's preferred hiring practices, which will help to aid consistency around your recruitment process. Another policy which covers your staffing is your whistleblowing policy. This establishes a clear process for any member of staff to report concerns about the nursery, childminder or any other childcare provision. Another key policy to create is your SEND policy. This policy shows how you ensure all children have access to a broad and balanced curriculum and how you will differentiate it to meet individual needs. This is all to allow all children, no matter their needs, to flourish whilst they're at your setting. It should refer to and incorporate the statutory guidelines around SEND practice, which you can find in the Department for Education's SEND Code of Practice. Another policy you should include is your parent partnership policy. This just states how you will work in partnership with parents and or carers in order to help children develop. And finally, you should create a policy around your curriculum. This will state the aims and principles around your nursery or childminder curriculum and can include how you plan to implement and achieve it. So those are the 9 key policy procedures that you need in order to open a nursery in the UK. If you do run your nursery already and you feel there's any that I've missed out, do simply add them to the comment section. It will help support others that are creating their own too. Though I personally like to create extra policies, as I prefer to have policies that I might not need rather than need policies that I might not have. Though as mentioned, you can get access to approved policies and procedures in the description from as little as 79p. You can get all the ones mentioned in this video plus lots more. Though whether you create your own or use the samples that I provided, I have 3 key tips to make sure that you create good policies and procedures. The first is to keep it simple. Your policy or procedure should start with a clear statement about what it is and what it hopes to achieve. And you should try to keep the language simple and jargon free. This is because it needs to be understood by parents as well as staff. The second tip is to simply say exactly what you plan to do. List the things that you plan to do in order to make sure that you meet the opening policy statement. Say how you will do them and by when. And the final tip is to make it your own. Even if you use the samples that I provided, adjust it and edit it to make it meet the needs of your nursery or your provision. All of this should help you to create excellent policy procedures to aid in the smooth running of your nursery. If you are creating these policy procedures in order to help you to open your own nursery, then I have 2 things that will really support you. Firstly, the main course. This course guides you step by step, teaching you everything you need to know in order to open your own nursery. It provides documents as well as pictures to guide you through the process. Becoming a member of the course also provides discounts to other services that I provide, like consultations, which is the second thing I wanted to mention, which will really support you. I now offer advice and mentorship to people seeking to open their own nursery. You can book a free initial consultation, which is just 5 minutes, or you can book regular or longer consultations where I can support you even better. Both of these can be found in the description below. Finally, before you go onto the description or onto the next video, please do hit that like button if you found this video useful. It really does help support the channel, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. I try to post regular videos helping people to open their own nursery. So if this is your goal, do hit that subscribe button. Finally, I want to thank you for watching and I wish you all the best. God bless.